Don't listen to this alone in the dark. Welcome back, listeners. If something in the room looks like it's waiting for you to notice it, don't give it that moment. The second you make eye contact with something that shouldn't be aware of you, you've already made yourself part of it. Tonight's story, The Mannequin Was Already Inside, starts now. I was halfway through my first overnight shift rotation in a furniture showroom when it happened, and everything about that place was normal until it wasn't. Big open floor, staged rooms built out of couches, beds, tables, lamps, the kind of place people walk through during the day, pretending they live there. At night it went quiet, in a way that made every object feel like it had weight. Lights weren't turned off, just dimmed low enough that anything standing upright looked like a person until you got close. I'd done this shift enough times to stop jumping at shadows. I knew where everything was. I knew which displays had mannequins and which didn't. There were only a few. One in a recliner near the front, one sitting at a breakfast table, and one standing beside a wardrobe in the bedroom section toward the back. That one always caught my attention because of the mirror behind it. It made it look like there were two of them if you passed at the right angle. I checked all the doors, logged the time, and went to the desk like usual. About 20 minutes later, I looked up at the monitor and saw the bedroom camera. The mannequin by the wardrobe wasn't lined up with the mirror anymore. It was angled out toward the aisle. Not a lot, just enough that it broke the reflection. I leaned closer to the screen and stared at it, trying to remember how I'd seen it during my walk. I knew it had been straight. I knew it. I sat there for a second too long, then grabbed my flashlight and went back out. It was exactly where the camera showed it, turned slightly toward the aisle. I stood there looking at it, trying to convince myself I'd just missed it earlier. I reached out and pushed its shoulder, turning it back toward the wardrobe. The plastic was cold, not cool, cold like it had been outside. I pulled my hand back fast and listened. Nothing, just the air system kicking on. I stepped away and headed back to the desk. I didn't even make it to the corner before I heard something behind me. A short scrape, like a chair leg moving. I stopped, turned, and aimed the flashlight back down the aisle. The mannequin wasn't by the wardrobe anymore. My stomach dropped so hard it felt like I missed a step. I moved back fast, light shaking over the floor, the bed, the nightstands. Nothing there. Then I swung the beam toward the next display over, the living room setup. It was sitting on the couch. Same mannequin, same gray sweater, same blank face. Sitting upright in the middle cushion, hands on its thighs, facing the opening where I was standing. No. The word came out before I could stop it. I stayed there, staring at it, waiting for it to do something. It didn't move. It just sat there, angled slightly toward me. I circled the couch slowly, checking the floor. No drag marks, no signs it had fallen or been moved. When I looked back at it, I realized the head was tilted just enough to keep me centered. I backed away. I didn't turn my back on it, not yet. I kept the flashlight on it and stepped backward toward the front. Then the lights flickered, just once. When they came back, the couch was empty. I turned immediately, scanning left, right. It was standing in the aisle behind me, closer. My chest locked up. I couldn't get a full breath in. It hadn't moved while I was looking at it. It had only changed position when I lost sight of it. I kept the light on it and started backing up again, faster now. Stay there. Just stay there. It didn't react. I kept moving. One step. Another. Then I blinked. That was it. Just a blink. When my eyes opened, it was halfway down the aisle. I felt something drop inside me, Not fear, something heavier. Like I had just realized a rule I couldn't break anymore. It only moved when I wasn't looking, and it was getting closer every time. No. I backed into the service corridor and hit the light switch. Fluorescent lights snapped on overhead. For a second, everything felt normal again. Concrete walls, yellow lines on the floor, supply carts. I kept the flashlight locked on the mannequin as I reached for the fire door behind me. I pushed the bar. It didn't open. I shoved it again, harder. Nothing. "Open!" The word echoed off the walls. I looked down at the lock just for a second. When I looked back up, the corridor was empty. My heart slammed so hard it hurt. I spun the flashlight across the hallway, the ceiling, the corners. Nothing. Then I heard it. Right behind me. I turned. It was standing in the corridor entrance, closer than it had ever been. The head tilted slightly, as if it was studying me. Its arms hung naturally at its sides, but something about the posture was wrong. Too balanced, too aware. I backed away from it, pressing myself against the locked fire door. "Don't." I didn't even know what I was saying. It took one step forward. The foot hit the floor with a hard plastic knock. Then another. It was moving now, not just changing positions. Moving. I ran. I pushed past the corridor, out onto the showroom floor, cutting between displays without looking back. My shoes hit the concrete too loud, echoing through the space. I heard the knocks behind me getting faster. I cut toward the front desk. If I could get the keys. Something stepped out in front of me. I stopped so hard I slid. It was already there, standing between me and the desk. It had gotten ahead of me. I stared at it, trying to understand how it moved that fast without me seeing it. The head turned slowly, a faint clicking sound coming from the neck as it locked onto me. "Please." It stepped forward. I turned and ran toward the back offices instead. I hit the break room door and slammed it shut behind me, grabbing a chair and jamming it under the handle, even though it wouldn't hold. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my phone trying to call for help. No signal. That had never happened before. I moved toward the small window in the door and looked out. Empty hallway. Then something pressed against the glass. A blank face, right up against it. I screamed and stumbled back. It stayed there for a second, then slid away. I heard something above me, a soft shift. I looked up. One of the ceiling panels was open. I didn't think. I ran. I threw the door open and bolted into the hallway, heading straight for the warehouse. The lights flicked on in sections as I passed, leaving darkness behind me. I hit the warehouse doors and pushed through. The space was huge. Tall racks, wrapped furniture, shadows stacked on shadows. I ran straight for the exit. Halfway there, I heard it above me. I looked up without stopping. It was crawling along the top of the racks. Its limbs moved wrong. Too long, too sharp at the joints. It dropped. Right in front of me. I skidded back. It stood up in one smooth motion, closer than ever. The surface of it wasn't smooth anymore. Cracks ran across the face and arms, and something dark shifted underneath. "Get away from me!" It rushed me. I swung at it, missed, stumbled, hit the ground hard, scrambled back, then got to my feet and ran again, deeper into the warehouse. I ducked behind a stack of mattresses and crouched, trying not to breathe too loud. Footsteps. Slow. Searching. They stopped. Then I heard it. My voice. "You saw me." My entire body went cold. You saw me. I crawled backward, hit something, made a sound. The footsteps snapped toward me. I ran again. I reached a side exit and shoved it. It didn't open. Chained. From the outside, I turned. It was right there, close enough to touch. Its face was split now, cracks opening wider, something moving underneath like it was trying to push through. I pushed past it, tearing free when it grabbed my jacket, and ran for the office. I locked the door behind me and shoved a cabinet in front of it. The phone was dead. I turned. It was at the window, head bent sideways to look in. Open the door. I shook my head, backing away. Open the door. The glass cracked, then broke inward. Its arm came through. I grabbed a chair and smashed it against the frame. The arm pulled back. Then the door slammed. Once. Twice. The cabinet shifted. I dropped to the floor and crawled through the maintenance hatch just as the door started to give. I didn't stop moving. I crawled through the narrow passage, hitting my shoulders, my knees, everything scraping against concrete. Behind me. It was coming. I burst out near the front and ran for the desk, grabbed the keys, and ran to the front doors. Wrong key. Wrong key. My hands wouldn't work. Come on. The footsteps stopped behind me. I turned. It was standing at the end of the aisle, watching me. It stepped closer, then pointed at the floor. My phone. It was ringing, but the sound was coming from it, from inside it. My ringtone. Warped. Trapped. It stepped closer. I backed into the glass. The security gate was locked from outside. There was nowhere left to go. It crouched in front of me, face level with mine. The mouth split wider. Something moved inside. You looked. Its hand closed around my throat. I tried to fight, but it didn't matter. The cold went through me, into my chest, locking everything up. The last thing I saw was the reflection in the glass behind it. The other mannequins had moved. They were standing now, watching, waiting. And then everything went dark. They said the next morning they found an extra mannequin in the showroom, standing in the living room display. Gray sweater, head slightly tilted. They thought it was a prop until they got close. They threw it out, wrapped it, left it by the loading dock. The cameras cut for 19 seconds that night. When they came back, the mannequin was gone and the back door was open. If you're listening to this and there's something in your room that feels like it's waiting for you to notice it, don't look at it again. Because if it's already aware of you, it might already be close enough to reach you. If you have a horror story of your own, please feel free to drop it in the comments section. You never know. The next story could be yours. Subscribe to The Vault so you don't miss what comes next.